Hello, and welcome to another episode of Notes from the Crypto Underground with your host, Crypto Rasputin. This podcast is coming from a secured remote location somewhere in Western California. And, as always, anything in this podcast should not be construed as professional investment advice. Always do your own research and remember that these opinions are strictly mine and for entertainment and educational purposes only. So, all that out of the way, welcome to another episode. And today is, today is Saturday, and we're going to go through the 9th of January. Let's start with some of the current crypto prices. Bitcoin currently at 40,800, Ethereum at 1,282, Litecoin at 176.44 US dollars, XRP up somewhat 0.33, Bitcoin Cash $563. Just on some of the top cryptos, you can see it's another bullish day in America for crypto and worldwide for crypto. Just to read some of the headlines, here's one. Experts. This is from Cointelegraph this morning, and I should say it's actually this afternoon. It's approximately 1:50 um, Pacific Coast Time, Pacific Standard Time. Experts, gold outflows are pushing Bitcoin higher. So this is one of the reasons that no doubt is behind the bullish market. This is an article by Andrew Thurman, and it is, again, on Cointelegraph.com. It says, according to multiple experts, one possible reason for Bitcoin's remarkable recent price rise are massive investor outflows from another popular inflation hedge, gold. Spot gold has been fell 4.2% or 4.62% to 1857. It had been previously surging in unison with Bitcoin. So this would seem to be in line with a lot of people's theory that even if a substantial fraction of the money that's currently in gold certificates, gold derivatives, etc., even a substantial fraction of that moves towards Bitcoin, that should increase the price of Bitcoin as it adds to the demand. And I would concur with that. I think at this point there's several things that are continuing to drive up demand. I think one thing is exactly what they're talking about. There's a fear of inflation, specifically because a lot of people are skittish about the need that's going to apparently be happening and that will probably will happen to pump more money into the economy through additional stimulus checks, subsidies, essentially printing money to attempt to stimulate demand as the world comes out of the COVID-19 crisis. And so as we're looking into 21, that would be one aspect of the demand as a hedge against inflation. I think that's reasonable. I think Bitcoin has shown that over the last year that it is a store of value, and I think that's going to continue to attract people who are hedging, either gold bugs who are starting to diversify, or just institutional funds that may have some amount of gold in reserve as a kind of rainy day fund / apocalyptic hedge, and that's going to be moving to Bitcoin. So those are some of the reasons. I think additionally the recent attempted coup d'etat has increased the level of instability, right? So I think that's also another reason for it, where gold traditionally goes up, skyrockets during times of political instability. Right now, there is a political crisis in the United States. Of course, we know the events of January 6th when there was a large demonstration of Trump supporters. Trump himself said he was going to lead them to march down. I actually read that Alex Jones says that he was actually going to lead them instead in Trump's place. That was the plan. But if you took a look at any of the footage, it looked pretty apparent that there were tens and tens of thousands, if not close to 100,000 people there. And so it sounded like by the time they planned for supposedly somebody else besides Trump to lead the crowd was already headed down there. And of course, Trump went back to his place, watched it all on television. What unfolded was a coup d'etat attempt, essentially, where the auto golpe. So the crowd did breach the building, and of course, as we all know, there was a raucous time had by all, which included essentially an armed occupation of the Capitol, protest occupation, and of course, the vice president and other high-ranking officials were whisked out. Later on, place was secured. President is still in office. However, he technically will be out on the 20th. I think that remains to be seen, and so I'm predicting that the Bitcoin price will increase through the inaugural time. There may be a retracement after the inaugural, assuming that that goes off relatively peacefully. Um, However, from the events that we saw at the Capitol on the 6th, there's no guarantee that it will go off relatively peacefully. And so I would anticipate that political instability within the United States is going to continue to drive Bitcoin higher as Bitcoin continues to be seen as a hedge against uncertainty. So that's kind of what's going on today. This is Saturday, and again, we will be back with you soon with some additional news. But again, things are looking bullish for Bitcoin, and so we're definitely glad to be here in the space and look forward to many future communiques over the year. And I'm maintaining my price point or my price prediction of 100K by the end of the year. Now, I'm going to also make an additional prediction that I'm going to say it's going to be around 100K by the end of the year. It might spike above that sometime between now and December. I don't know. A lot of people are saying that's too conservative. I think that remains to be seen. But I still think 100K is a pretty solid prediction. And I certainly don't have a lot of arguments against people who would put a higher price point, including apparently, I think it was J.P. Morgan that said it was going to be 300,000 by the end of 2021. And of course, when the big boys start telling you that, you got to watch out because they're in the position to make a self-fulfilling prophecy. And as many of us in the Bitcoin space know, there's definitely some market manipulation on the part of the likes of Diamond and J.P. Morgan and a lot of the, shall we say, the traditional legacy financial oligarchy, which of course is now latching on to Bitcoin and of course is co-opting Bitcoin. And of course, as many of us know, that's one of the great aspects of capitalism, the ability to incorporate, co-opt the opposition and sell it back to you at a profit. So that's what's happening today. We're going to check out till next time. And remember, the revolution will not be televised, but it will be on the blockchain. See ya.